Hi, LinkedIn. So, question for you. Have you ever made a mistake or then have you failed at something? And have you ever let it kind of impact you or change you as a person? So, I very recently made a mistake in my life. And after that, I took a huge step back from LinkedIn because I think I felt a little bit ashamed, that I had made a mistake, and something didn't work out in my life. But then reflecting upon it, when I started growing my LinkedIn 2 years ago, it was because I was my authentic self and I shared both my success stories and my failures. And so why should this be any different? Last year, after my last employment came to an end, I was unemployed for 4 months. And I was trying really hard to get a job. And I got to the top quite a few times. And then I just never got the job, And then somebody saw one of my videos and saw my profile on LinkedIn, approached me. Very soon after, I was offered a job in the space industry of all places. And I'm the kind of person who never says no and who is a go-getter. So I think I had very little criteria at the time. For me, it was I want a job, obviously a good income, and if it's marketing, then where I go. And I did the job, and then unfortunately the employment relationship came to an end after 3 months. And I felt so angry at myself for having failed. I really couldn't see the bigger picture. And I didn't want to share this story. But then the reason that people feel ashamed or, like bad for failing and like they can't share their story is because we have this screwed up stigma in the world that it's terrible to fail. It's terrible to make the wrong decision, to make a mistake. And unless people like myself kind of overgrow their ego maybe a bit and accept failure is a part of life and share their story with the world, we're never going to break that stigma. And I think that's what I really want to do here. So it failed. And I think one of the biggest reasons is because it wasn't my industry. And no matter how much I could try to convince myself, and I'm very good at that sometimes, it wasn't. And that's the truth. And I think I just couldn't admit that to myself. Even after it ended, I was like, I could do it. And then I couldn't do it. So that's what I want to come on here and say. Yes, I made maybe a wrong decision. I didn't have standards, or criteria. And I did fail, or to myself, it's a failure. But that's not the right way to look at it. And I shouldn't have to feel like I can't share my story on LinkedIn, or encourage others to take risks and perhaps fail. Because didn't they always say that you learn when you fail? So the one learning lesson I definitely got out of this is that you need to have more criteria. You need to know, it's not just about you getting a job. Is that company, are they finding the right cultural fit? And are you in them? So this time around, when I'm searching for jobs, I have criteria. I have check boxes that need to be checked. We're talking about larger, more established companies that have already been generating revenue for a few years, that have a lot of cultures working in there, that they're perhaps international. So I definitely have more criteria. And I think by having that, which I didn't have before, I will hopefully find the right place in the right company. So yes, I'm Selena and I did fail, but that isn't my entire story, And it definitely learned a lot, and who knows? Without that, I might not be here applying for the right positions for me, really paying attention to who the company is and do they meet my criteria and do I meet theirs? So I am definitely hopeful for the future, but I want to encourage other people, don't take a step back or change who you are just because you failed. That is part of life. It is a learning lesson, and there is no shame in having taken a risk and failed. Thanks for listening.